Hi, I'm Max Brantley with the Arkansas Times on Wednesday, January 28th with news from Arkansas. Big news today. The State Board of Education just finished a nearly all-day long meeting in which the State Board voted to take over the Little Rock School District, the state's largest, because of the failure of 6 of its schools to meet academic proficiency standards. The board was split 4-4. In the end, Sam Ledbetter, the chairman, who's from Little Rock, voted against, by not voting at all, to break the tie on a compromise proposal where the district would work in partnership with the state on the 6 distressed schools. Instead, he joined a 5-4 majority to take over the school district. It happens immediately. The school board will be removed. They're going to keep Dexter Suggs at least on an interim basis as a superintendent. I will have some things to say about Suggs' ability to have that job. He's not a Jerry Guess who took over the Pulaski district when they were in physical distress, but a lot of things are going to happen quickly. School will go on. Things won't change in the schools, but the state, which said it didn't think it could quickly get together a plan to do a partnership with Little Rock School District, said no problem, it can take over the entire district tomorrow, so there's a little bit of an irony in that. Elsewhere at the Capitol today, a state committee refused to approve a bill that would end dual recognition of Robert E. Lee and Martin Luther King on the same holiday in January. Defenders of the Confederate general turned out in force, and the legislative committee just simply wasn't willing to let Robert E. Lee go. Kind of an embarrassing day for Arkansas on that count, I think. A meaningless sort of thing, but symbolism is important. In ethics news, the Arkansas Blog reports today that legislators are hard at work to open more loopholes in the new ethics amendment, Amendment 94. We've learned that they've reached out to lobbyists, not the public, mind you, for suggestions on how to tweak the law pertaining to ethics and gifts and entertainment of legislators to make it more suitable to lobbyists. We've also learned that the lobbyists have worked out a deal whereby they are indeed setting up social events with committees of the legislature. This, in theory, is allowed by the amendment, in which you have scheduled activities in which you can just continue your same old whining and dining, but in smaller social groups. The interesting thing is through a memo leaked to me, I've learned that they're going to keep these meetings secret, they hope, by not publishing these events. I've worked out a thing, where I think we'll be able to find out where these so-called committee meetings are meeting. I think we'll find that they're at steakhouses and fancy restaurants and not in the halls of the Capitol. AsaCare. Governor Asa Hutchinson's version of the extension of the private option program came out of the Senate committee today, and that committee defeated a bill that would have ended the private option program. The State Pay Commission is getting closer to a final decision on what we're going to pay our state officials. They seem to want to pay the governor 6 figures, maybe $110,000, maybe more than that. They want to edge up near $100,000 for some of the statewide officers, particularly Secretary of State Mark Martin. I've suggested if we give Mark Martin that kind of a pay raise, we at least ought to make him come to work. He's well known for not spending a lot of days in Little Rock, but working on an engineering business back home in Prairie Grove. Finally, I wanted to add one small word about something I said yesterday, perhaps too flippantly mention the case of Jermaine Taylor, the prize fighter, who was ordered to undergo physical and mental evaluations yesterday by a judge as a fallout from his erratic behavior following a couple of arrests on gun charges. There was some good reporting today in the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette by, among others, columnist Wally Hall, who talked about some of the grievous injuries that Taylor has suffered going back into prize fighting at an advanced age when perhaps he shouldn't have been certified into the ring. There seems pretty clearly to have suffered neurological damage. He's apparently spent nearly all the millions of dollars he's made as a prize fighter. He's leveraged to the hilt in debt. This is really an American tragedy story and a story of the evils that can fall those who get into the prize fighting ring. And I think nothing but sadness is in order there, and my apologies for not being more sensitive to it yesterday. I'm Max Brantley. I'll be back tomorrow.